Welcome, everybody, back to the Brand to Table podcast. I'm your host, Henry Kaminski Jr., your go-to for restaurant marketing and branding. And today, guys, we have some amazing guests. I recently visited their restaurant for my wife's birthday, and they blew our socks off. So, without further ado, I want to introduce Antonio and Brenda ieso from Fiorentini in Rutherford, New Jersey.
That's it is. It's true. Give my words to my wife first.
What is going on, guys?
Everything's fine. I mean, we are very excited about being here and looking forward to all the questions you may have and things that we want to share.
You don't know, but I'm actually writing a book. No, I'm kidding. But that's why I have so many questions. I get teased a lot by my guests. They're like, what is with all these questions?
Bring as many as you can, please.
Yeah. I'm like, it's a podcast. You're supposed to ask questions, right? But real quick, I know, we're filming this the week after the big food and wine festival up in Crystal Springs, where I live. I live up in Sparta. I know you guys were there. You have a great presence there. Talk to me about that. How was it this year?
It was very good this year, actually. I saw a lot more upcoming places, and we were there with two of our places. So we were there with Fiorentini, of course, our farm to table, and with Ingranum, our latest concept, which is the Italian high-quality bread and baking goods wholesale production. So we only sell to businesses in the tri-state area at the moment. And no, it was great. It was really good times. We were blown away. Fiorentini, we ran out food like very fast.
Oh man,
we were out. So then we switched, get all together to the other place.
Right.
And no, it was very exciting. It was very exciting.
Awesome. Yeah, I was there last year, and I made the biggest mistake ever. I said, I'm going to a food and wine festival with my wife. I'm not going to eat all day because I'm going to eat there. Well, I forgot that the portions aren't as big.
Yeah.
So, and the drinks come fast and furious. So by like 11 o'clock, I was shot. And I was like, I was looking for anything to eat. Wow. And I'll never forget it. We were coming into this big atrium area, right? That's kind of like semi-outdoor or whatever with all the windows. And David Burke's station was there, and he had all this bacon. I never ate so much bacon in my life. Just to get me through the night.
You were on the tavern. Yes, we were there with Ingranum.
Yeah. So I had such a blast. I'm so pissed I missed it this year. I had a communion to go to, and there was no way wifey and I were missing that communion. So I can't wait for
That's good. Every year there is one.
Yeah, exactly. So we
never miss it.
We will be there next year for sure. So let's get into your backstory, shall we? So both of you are from Florence, Italy.
Firenze, yes.
Right? And you actually grew up not too far from each other, but met each other here in the States when you guys both came over.
That's correct.
You gotta tell me the story.
Absolutely. I do what you do.
I'll do my part, then you do yours.
You do your parts first
Yeah.
because it's...
So I was born in Peru, and I was raised in Florence. All my life I went to school there. And then I came in to the U.S. I think by now it's going to be almost 20 years.
Wow,
20
that's
years
fast.
I've been living here. So next year will be the year where I've lived here the most out of everywhere else in the world, I guess. But I guess I'm still like Florentine at heart, and obviously Peruvian in my soul as well. But Antonio, born and raised in Florence, we actually went to school basically like a mile apart from each other, but
less.
Never crossed paths in Florence. And Florence, it's just like a tiny city. Everybody knows each other.
Right.
Like the places where the teenagers hang out is the same places because, it's tiny. Now it's gotten much more, but 30 years ago it was like different. So we met in New York at an event, and it's crazy how when I was we were looking for the name for Fiorentini. We came up with a bunch of things, and nothing really resonated because, then you have to think about how Americans will pronounce it and this and that. Like I wanted to be one word, and nothing really came that it felt like it was us. And one day I'm literally by my house just waiting at the light, and I'm like, why don't we just call it Fiorentini? That's where we're from, I mean, it's just, I think that if something can unite us both, it's definitely, our hometown, like Florence. So.
I remember she gives me a call and she's like, I have the name. Say, go ahead. She say home. I'm like, what do you mean home? Yeah, no, I mean, Fiorentini. I was like, that's it. That's perfect.
It just
I
clicked.
said, this is our home. Yeah, I got it. Let's go.
Oh my God, I love it. I love it. I love it. And tell everybody. So Fiorentini means home?
So Fiorentini means citizen of Florence.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. So coming back from there, it was the reasoning of having a common starting points for everything we wanted to do.
Yeah.
The project, the ideas, which is way bigger than Fiorentini, but it's still behind the scene.
Yeah. So talk to me about the restaurant, guys. How do you describe the restaurant? I want to hear it from you guys because I have my own point of view. but I wanna hear it from
Absolutely.
you.
No, I think it's very important because it's good to send it out as many times as we can, the real understanding of Fiorentini. Here there is the wording farm to tables. But the way I grew up, and it's the only way I know how to operate, it's Kilometer zero. That's the way we call it in Italy. So everyone goes to there and says, wow, food is amazing, it's so good, so fresh. We're not fancy in sense of, number one, our ingredients list in Italy. We're so lucky. A small little country with the highest number of vegetables, highest numbers of fruits, biggest production of olive oils, wines, you name it, right? So we have good products. We don't go looking for something coming out from other countries or nothing. We go Kilometer zero. What's next to you, work with that. And most of everything, seasonal. You don't look for strawberry in winter. You don't look for strawberry in any other season as long as it's not summer. Same for any other ingredients. So the only way I wanted to do a restaurant was, I look at my wife, I say, okay, it's COVID. Think about this. It's
2020,
COVID.
yeah.
And we are all lay off. She's lay off. I'm partially lay off. I was the creative director at Metropolitan Opera.
Right.
And my job was secure. They gave me the letter, everything passed, you come back here, you're good, you're set. I knew I wanted to open something. So I look at my wife, she was on the couch, and I say, baby, I have an idea. She say, go ahead. I say, you know what we do? We're going to refinance our house. Because the percentage, the APR now, it's perfect. So we get very low interest in the house. We take all the equity. We ask some friends and family if we have to, our reserve, and we open a restaurant. My wife looked at me and say, sorry?
You are crazy.
She say, well, no, you know when a woman say what? Like, rephrase yourself, please. Right. But because I'm so stubborn, I don't rephrase myself, so I repeat the same exactly thing. She's like, you're nuts.
Sounds like my wife.
Yeah, no, she's like, forget about it, like, don't even mention it again. And I
Every
keep going.
single
And you're
person-
serious.
every
I'm
single
serious. I'm
person
like, we're going to do it.
I've met told me, do not open a restaurant with your husband. It'll be the worst mistake you ever make, and you will be divorced in 3 months. So it was like, no way we're doing this.
Oh my goodness.
And you're like, no, I'm going to divorce you. She say, it's like, you're going to make us lose everything. No, absolutely no. So here goes weeks of trying to convince her, and going back and forth until she's like, okay, I'm gonna do it, but I don't want anything to do with it. And I was like, come on, we do it together or we don't do it.
Right.
She's like, well, I'm going to be behind the scene. I say, okay, fair enough.
I thought initially, my background comes from hospitality as well, but I used to do high-end events, social events for like...
Which, by the way, was perfect, because
It's a perfect marriage.
we match it.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah, so a lot of the clientels for the company that I work for, New York City based. So, parties where people spend $1 million or more sometimes.
Yeah.
So I loved what I did. So it was very hard for me while COVID to just, accept that everything that I worked so hard for and got to the point that I got, it was just gone because, my industry was the last one to come in to play back. So, it was a rough time. I went through, I would say, like a serious depression time. Because
I was excited. I was doing construction in the backyard.
on the other hand,
That was vacation.
he's hyperactive, so he needs to be doing 1,000 things at the same time. And while I was literally subbing every day, he was just like, building things in the house and things like that. So, at some point, I was like, when is this ever going to be ending? And I gave up because obviously he's very insistent and very convincing, and I do trust him. And at that moment, the only thing I knew, because obviously I don't come from restaurant industry, the only thing I knew is that he's very good with numbers. And so that made me say yes, and nothing else. Honestly, I didn't think of, like, obviously he's very skilled cooking, but that's not the only thing that you need in a restaurant. Sure. And so my thing was primarily, he's good with numbers, somehow we'll make this work. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to design it because that's my thing. I'm going to help him getting going. And then once this is all over, I'll go back to my industry and do what I love and blah, blah, blah. And then obviously, little by little, although it took a long time, I adjusted to this industry, and I've learned to love it. Some days more, some days less.
Agreed.
The first 3
But
months.
she still does what she loves. We do a lot of events.
Yes,
Sure.
I do love. I do a lot of events there too, and so in the beginning it was really rough. Like the first 3 months, I cried every day because people can be obnoxious, especially when they don't know any better. And I think it all comes down to not being one best than the other, but it just comes down into educating people on what are the differences between American Italian cuisine, which is great, and there are so many great options in the state for that, and authentic
But should start being
Italian.
defined as a cuisine.
Right, and authentic
And
Italian
differentiate
cuisine.
one from the other one.
Yeah.
Which is what we try to do since we opened the door with all the newspapers, because it's like, not that we care. It's like, if you don't want to do an Italian section, it's fine, but do not pair an Italian real restaurants next to an American, but the American Italian. Same for French next to American French. Same for Japanese next to American Japanese. You know, it's like they are different cuisine.
Yeah.
Anyway, going back to your questions. Sorry, Will.
No, I love it. This is great.
Yeah, and so we start. We got up and running. Call our realtor. She finds our house. You know, right? She finds a few spots here and there. Right? No, this doesn't work. This doesn't work. So we were about to open in Montclair. And Chestnut Street, talk to the guy, he owns the building, it's Italian, right? Last minute change of the plans. I say, no, I don't like this, sorry, we're walking out. My realtor called me, she said, listen, there is a place, it went on fire, it's empty, maybe you want to take a look on it. I'm looking at the numbers, I say, fire is a lot of problem, we have a budget, no, we can't do that, I'm sorry, let's keep looking. 3-4 days after I call her, and I say, you know what, just let me take a look at it. Maybe there is no big damage. We entered the door, I discovered the place went on fire was the next door. Because it was one suppression system only. One
building.
Ansel system only.
Yeah.
No Ansel.
Ventilation.
Sprinkle.
No, the sprinkler.
Oh, sprinkler.
One sprinkler system only. The water went to damage the place where Fiorentini is nowadays.
Okay.
So, not big problem. It was only water, evaporated. They took out everything, so it was a black canvas. I enter, I do a tour around. I start envisioning. I get to the door. I look at the landlord. I look at my realtor. Where do I sign? Like that. My wife is like, whoa, wait. I was like, no, we sign. We say, let's do the deal. And she's like, are you sure? I say, positive. I already saw it.
Now, the only reason why we went through it is we've never been to Rutherford before. So I had no idea.
You had no idea the
where.
town.
Yeah, we were like, well, he lived in New York all the time that he's been here. So he was just recently moved to Jersey when we bought the house, when we got married and bought the house. And when we bought the house, it was kind of the same scenario. So, you know, he worked at Opera, so he worked crazy hours there. And I will go with the realtor to look at the houses and such and such. And, you know, I fell in love with one house that it was like a block away from our house. And when the house got sold, and I was like, just like,
Overpriced
no,
markets.
I want that house. I don't want anything else, blah, 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 acting like crazy.
I was like,
And-
we don't pay an house overpriced. It doesn't
Yes,
make sense.
yes.
It's
And-
mathematical.
And
no.
then, like, just a couple weeks later, he found another home a block away from this one. And he looked at it. He said, I'll make
I only
this
look at the
house."
picture. It wasn't on the market for another month.
Yes.
So they only post the picture. But through the picture, I envision it.
Yes. And so he goes, I'll make this house better than the one you saw. I promise you. And so he did. And when he entered, and when the moment he looked at his house, he was like, this is the one. So when we entered Fiorentini, like in Rutherford, the location, he did exactly the same thing. And then he started telling me the numbers and how it's like the lowest percentage rate, and we needed this and blah, 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 and that it made sense. So I trusted him, and it really was, I mean, we love Rutherford. People are, even though 90% of my clientele is not from Rutherford, we love the people there, the town. It's just a beautiful place.
Then there was
live.
another main reason. It was a dry town.
Yeah. Back then.
So I was coming from New York. My conception of going out as a diner, it was a New York conception. It wasn't a New Jersey one. That I changed it with the times. But at that times I was, okay, what if I want to go out for dinner, where do I go? So I say, I go with the restaurant where there is a liquor license because I don't want to bring my bottle, I'm going to forget, I want a cocktail. Sure. So I say, but hold on a second, that means that whoever is going to come as a guest is going to choose someone else prior to me if I don't have the liquor license. And you know liquor license prices in New Jersey are to the roof.
That is wrong.
So I say, how do I solve these issues? Dry town. No one has the liquor license. It's your food versus my food. And that's how we're going to nail it. And that is the main reason I choose Rutherford.
Oh, my God.
Then it changed.
Yeah.
You know, they do a referendum, they approve new liquor license, but by then our name was already gone. You know, we were already.
And to be honest, we had the chance to purchase the liquor license by now, but we did not by a choice. And one, obviously, it is a lot of money, and it's just the two of us. We are 100% owners of Fiorentini. And two, we saw how much people really love the BYO. And so instead of actually losing clientele because of it, we gain so much because people are so used to just, you know, and they spend more on food. And so until now, we might do it eventually if we still have the chance. But as of right now, it really did not affect our business at all. And so we decided to just
let it ride. Yeah, let it ride.
Anyway, here we are. COVID, we signed the lease, we refinanced the house, get beautiful percentage, start working on the place. Lock it down, no one knows who we are, everything is obscure. We just put out a great idea my wife had, and it's this big banner with 4 different little sketch that every little in a while, we didn't have a perfect timing, but whenever we knew we were accomplish a good step, we will unreveal the next
one
sketch.
Square. So it was like my thought it was like we were nobody. We you know, basically just 2 people who decided, husband and wife, who decided to open up this restaurant. Yes, he had a great curriculum, but at the end of the day, nobody knows us in New Jersey. Like, you know, we don't come from background of restaurateurs and nothing. So I said, like, how can we make the biggest impact and start creating expectation in what's coming? And so we designed this banner. It was huge, like 10 feet tall, and we put it right over
10 by 10.
At Fiorentini. So every person that was driving by or walking by will see like 1 square of this sketch that I will unveil every once in a while. And it was a design where it was almost like, you know, it's arriving and then it's landing, and then so it was really cool, and it created a lot of expectation, and people like just started like, you know, on the Facebook page of the town, they were like, what's coming here and what is this and what is that. And so we had everything covered until Halloween. Halloween.
So we opened November 17.
Oh.
November 18.
Okay.
And the Halloween, so 18 days prior, it's where we unreveal the name.
Oh, nice.
By then, there was already a buzz.
Yes, and we
People were like,
were
okay,
giving out candy to the kids that day, so it was a great way to meet the people, and it was awesome.
Anyway, here we are. COVID, we signed the lease, we put the deposits. My wife comes back home with up and downs. It's like, are we going to have guests? Is there someone going to come inside the restaurants?
Is one person going to show up?
Yeah, you know, and like, love it. We did this job for other people. You, your industry, me, my industry. Why can't we do it for us? You know? And I was like so secure about what we're going to do. It's
confident.
Comes the day of the opening, we limit reservations. It's like, let's learn to walk before we run.
Okay.
Waiting lines. Waiting lines for months. Like people wanted to come, we couldn't. Okay? So then we start, and we're raising 20% extra, 20% extra, 20% extra, 20% extras. Now, by that time, the team was solid, was secure. People knew how to do what they had to do. Our goal was, and here we go back to your question, our goal was to deliver an experience difference, a real Italian experience. Hospitality, it's more than just a job. It's something like, the way I interview my guys when they come to work, I say, what do you do if an old woman is crossing the street? And it's like, I don't know. It's like, there you see what hospitality is. It's more than just service, you know. It's a way of one to share with others.
To cater others.
To cater.
Yeah.
So the first goal we do is we don't want people with the industry experience. Zero. We want people with a sense of hospitality. I can teach you the job. I cannot teach you to be a good human being. And with that philosophy, we brought up Fiorentini. We grow up until we found people that more matched our needs, that more understand our philosophy, you know. Now, menu. Menu has to be like in Italy. Nothing different. First rules of every big chef in Italy. Ingredients. Once you find the good ingredients, you don't cut.
Yeah, like I hear all the time here, like people can make pastas, and it's awesome, right? But it goes back to
Ingredients.
What kind of flour are you using?
Yeah.
Because if you're using flour that it's not refined or the way it should be, you are just giving me something bad wrapped in, like a nice package.
A nice package.
Yeah, lipstick on a pig.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
And again,
so we
there's
import our
nothing
flour.
wrong, but that's the main thing is the ingredient.
We import our flours.
Okay.
We import our olive oil, and then we import the main ingredients that only Italy can do.
Okay.
Parmigiano Reggiano, not Parmesan. Prosciutto Italiano, not prosciutto from who knows where, you know. The ingredients we're famous for.
Okay.
The rest, we are on the garden state.
Right?
Like farmer here, they can cover the entire USA in needs.
Really?
So we start looking for farmers. But then we start going into that one. Okay, what farmer? Because, you know, we are talking about not having something wrap it up with lipsticks, but we have to do the same concept on farming. What about if it's a farm that doesn't do something good in it? So we start discovering regenerative farming. Farmers that only focus on nature practices. No pesticides, no chemical, no
GMO.
nothing.
Right.
So
Nothing.
the health of the soil, naturally.
Correct.
If the
How
soil
works
is
the
health,
cycle?
then obviously what the animal is going to eat, it's natural. Therefore, you are what you eat, and what you're
No,
eating.
you are what you ate.
Yes.
Okay.
'Cause
Which is
what
more
the animal
deep
ate.
than the rest. So it's a cycle. If you have an healthy soil, you have an healthy products. It could be a grass, it could be a vegetable, it could be a flowers, a fruits, whatever you want. If it's an healthy grass, animal is going to eat healthy food. Now animal is going to make an healthy products, which goes back to the soil. And that's how you get your circle, you know.
Got it. So it starts from there. Starts
Correct.
from the ground.
Start from the ground.
From the ground.
So, and there we are. We discover our farmers. Now, guess what? They have a problem. They don't work with restaurants. They are farm to door. So they work with privates. They deliver it to your doors, but they have no intent to work with restaurant because restaurant needs are usually, I send you an order on the nights, and the farmer is like, Anton, you can't send me an order on nights. We wake up here at 3, 4 a.m. in the morning. We cut the crop, you know, we take everything from the, and then we have to organize, we have a small group of farmers. I say, okay, how can I work with you? And he's like, well, you need to be taking upon all your risk. And he's like, what do you mean? Well, you need to plan your orders in a way that it works for you for the week. But then if you don't have it, you don't have it. Otherwise, you have to go more. And then if you lose it, you lose it. It's your problem. So you know what? Let's do it. I'm going to take home the rest. We have to eat too, no? So it's like, okay, we can try. And we start.
And another thing is that chefs are used to, build up a menu that, let's be honest, most of them are there forever. They don't really change, right? And for many, many reasons. And there is nothing really to blame. It's just that we decided to do something different. So they get it from anywhere they can at whatever cost because they have it on their menu and they have to deliver. But a lot of people don't realize that that is also not cost effective. So a lot of people, tell us like, oh, how do you manage to get this pricing, when you have all these ingredients that are seasonal? Well, I'm not paying $7 for tomato in the winter or strawberry. Like it's just, actually if you were to want to learn more, it is much better. Not only you are delivering a product that is fresh, but it's also less costly. Obviously,
broccoli wrap, they go up
yes.
and down in the market based on the season. You can get a cases for $20, and then the same cases cost $55.
Yeah, but at the same regards, right? It takes a lot of skills for you to change a menu every 3 months. I actually do not know many restaurants in the state that do so. Nothing stays, no matter how much it sells. In the beginning, it was like, I came back so far away. What do you mean you don't have this? It's just not seasonal. We feature tomatoes only in the summer. I mean, and Jersey has the best tomatoes. So, it's only about wanting to be adaptive to, what the demand of the farmers are. And he builds a new menu before the season even starts. He starts talking to them on what the crop is going to be, how the weather is being, what he was able to grow and whatnot. And from there, in the winter, it's very, very tricky. Like, there's only a certain amount of ingredients that are available. Sometimes, 15, 12. And out of those 15, 12, he has to come up with 21, 22 dishes that are one different than the other. So it's something that obviously not a lot of chefs are capable to do or want to even do, because it's a lot of work. By the time my guys learn to prep one dish, by memory in the kitchen, guess what? It's about to turn it over. And the same for the front of the house. So, it's not an easy labor.
So you turned into part farmer. You're part farmer.
Push, man. It's like the only truth behind Fiorentini is artwork. I love artwork.
So this brings me into my next question. Authenticity. A lot of people throw this word around. I get sick by it. I want to know how you define the word and how you live through it.
Absolutely. Great questions. Authentic, it's part of our brand. It's Fiorentini, authentic farm to table. So that's the name. And authenticity has to be within you. Like, there is going to be, let's cut to the chase, and we all know this. Inside ourselves, we all know this. In any industry, there is always shortcuts. There is always shortcut. So I think the authenticity stands into not want to take the shortcut and take the hard road. And the hard road costs sacrifice, costs money. Trust me, I have farm eggs, pasture raised, free cage, just free, since I opened the door. Never changed for a second. Okay? There was a time where colleagues were like, "Are you crazy? You're paying $6.75, $7 per dozen?" So you can get it from Cisco for $2.99, $1.99, depends on whatever season you have. And I'm like, "Okay, can you eat those eggs raw? Would you do that?" I say, "You can mine." I say, "Absolutely. I never had a problem. My kids are growing with these eggs,
And trust me, sometimes I do wish we would have taken some easier roads, because, this thing of changing the menu 3 months is exhausting. It's exhausting. It's very demanding for him as well. Like, it's not like you can just close your eye. Because now, in the beginning, people were very upset about not finding their dish. They came back from God only knows where. We have a lot of people that travel from very far away. So they were like, "What do you mean you don't have it?" And now, little by little, people started understanding the culture and the reasoning behind it. And I think, like, it all comes down to that. If you explain to the consumer, to the customer, why do you do this, then people start appreciating what you do. And therefore, we saw every single time he changed the menu, there is a spike on reservations, and people were like, "I can wait to see, and I can wait to try what you do next, menu." And it creates a rotation of people telling us, in the beginning, I had customers that came like 4 times in a month. Like, that's basically one every week. And our menu was even shorter than what it is now. It was really small. So I was like asking him, like, "Oh my God, what are we gonna give him now?" Like, they tried everything now, and one
like,
day,
we give what we have.
And one day I asked him, like, "Oh, I don't know, like, what you gonna eat today?" And he looked at me, and he kind of clicked for me in that moment, and he goes like, "What do you mean? Like, I've came to retry this, re-eat this, because it's just so awesome, and I don't care. Like, I'll come back for the next menu to try whatever he's done the next season, but if I come back within the same period of time of the season, is because I really do love it, and I want to have it." So I understood that people really appreciated it and started, understanding the culture and the difference between the taste of a natural and seasonal product and not. So,
yeah, and to reinforce authenticity it's truly like we push ourselves every menu. Okay, we can get better, but then also how, if it's so challenging, maybe there is a way we don't know now, and we can make this one less challenging. Okay, so we work into that one all the times. The real authenticity we have, first of all, versus everything before the brand, it's to the hard work. It's like we never stop to say, people, guys, work is work. Like, if it was a pleasure, it wouldn't be called work. So let's start from that concept, and then we can push ourselves, because you can only grow if you believe that you can grow.
Yeah, Well,
and that's what we do.
Yeah.
And then authenticity is to stay within our guidelines all the times. All the times. We decide to deliver this name, we have to keep it that way.
All right, so let's get into some hospitality, because I want to understand. You guys have great dynamic backgrounds. You know, you come from private events and upscale private events. You come from culinary side. Now you're a farmer, whether you like it or not.
I love it.
Right? But you have quite a vision too, because we just had some real estate brokers on the other day, and I was saying, what do you do when a client comes in and their gut and their emotions take over, and it may not be the right choice? Like, how do you help them, right? So that's all. That was last episode. We're not going to muddy this episode with that. But you saw it and you said, that's it, I'm going in, and you just went. So let's get into hospitality, right? One of the things that I noticed when I was there was everyone, from the hostess, from the busser, to everybody was on the same page. So I want to know sort of what hospitality means from each of you, like, because I know it's not the same.
Yeah, let's do the lady first.
Sure.
So I think, what we focus a lot, it's into just being genuine, right? But we basically, choose our employees based on their personality. Not even, like he explained before, not even on their experience, because on paper we all are great. But at the end of the day, you have to really, and we train them to make them understand the impact of a good and a bad experience and what good hospitality is. And so we do a lot of mock-ups with them,
Yeah.
and we train them that way. So, and then when we train them, we see maybe some of the things that they need to trick and they need to better, and so we gave them examples of how to do that, and then make them just understand that these are people that they can be their guests at their own home, and how would you treat them when they come through your door. So exactly that same mentality is really not nothing crazy for us. It's just the way we are raised.
Yeah.
And so we want to share that everything at Fiorentini is the extension of who we are and what we believe in.
Yeah, that's absolutely truth.
Yeah.
If we invite people home, you get the same.
Right.
No differences.
Right.
Same food, same hospitality. Yeah. So it's just who we are.
Do you think it's cultural? Because I do.
Absolutely it is.
I do.
Absolutely
Yeah.
it is.
And in that regard, South America and Italy, in general,
We are around
Europe,
the table. Yeah.
is, everything is around the table. Like, I have a nice living couch, but people gather in the kitchen, and I think that's it's really a very European thing, and it's just the way we are brought up.
Yeah.
So everything she say, absolutely truth. In addition to that, what I think it makes our hospitality the way it is, it's when we start with a new person, we had to walk her or him into our philosophy. So he comes down to really, really work a lot into making them understand why we do what we do. And then it comes down to another important things. Like you do with a kid, right? You had to share with them the experience. You had to take them with the hands and create a path for them.
Guide them,
correct. So what we say all the time is like, guys, this may not be your job, but why do you have to be poor in something in life? Be great at what you do. It doesn't matter if it's your job or not. Just be great, because you're gonna be remembered as a great. Okay, and I say, you might not be the owner of these restaurants, but yes, you are the owner of your own place or your own work. Who you are, the way you're gonna live or the way you're gonna stay, it's only and only gonna depend by you, your own actions. Then there is a phrase in my life that really, really impacts me from a background I come, and is, how you are born is not your fault, how you die, it is. And so I always say to them, make sure you build your own path.
So let me get that again. When you were born,
The way, in other words, the way that you don't choose how and where or with who are you born. Some people are luckier than other ones, but you do choose how and you choose your path, you choose your growth. So that's what we try to share.
So I love this show, because I have people on like you on it, because I learn. I'm never gonna forget that one. That one is such a. I'm like welling up over here, because
It did change my life.
Yeah, it is such a That one hit me hard because we all come from humble backgrounds,
yes,
I understand.
Yes, and I think in that regards, I mean, especially him, he grew up in a foster home, and so he had to basically build his life.
Yeah.
And so however his life started, he did not have a choice in that, but he's choosing every day to to build his own path and grow in his own ways. And so that's how we share authenticity. That's how we share hospitality also to whoever encounter us.
Oh, I love it. I love it so much. Let me ask you this. So what do the guests not see in the restaurant that you guys
A lot.
obsess over?
A lot.
A lot.
A lot and not a lot, because in the beginning, obviously we were very new, and we still are. I mean, it's still new restaurant. We're gonna be open 5 years now. A lot of people told me if you pass the 2 years, you're golden now. But we don't think about that. We have the mentality to treat the restaurant. First of all, the restaurant is like a person in my household. Nothing comes before the restaurant. Not me, not my kids, nothing. Not even his own health sometimes. And it can be a very toxic environment, let's be real, especially when you are under pressure on changing and doing all of these things, and keeping up with what you built is the hardest thing. Consistency is the hardest thing. So, Fiorentini is the main person in our life, and everything revolves around it. Now we also have Ingranum, so it's an adjustment, but it's also the way you raise your kids to start appreciating the hard work and to value the things that they're able to live because of this hard work. So it's just the way we conduct ourselves.
Yeah, but I mean, even if he's his own person, then doesn't mean it's like he has to change too, So he has to become part of our life.
Yeah, it is.
But that toxic part has to disappear, It's an adjustment process. So how do we make this healthy?
Yeah.
And let's be honest, restaurant industry, it's to the hardest point it's ever been. Cost to the roof, ethic to the lowest points ever. People, doesn't matter the industry you're in, it's if they even show up to the interview, it's something great. When I grew up into this industry, if you don't show up, they will come to pick you up at house just to literally kick you, and then now you can go. It's like, or you will be marked in the industry,
Right?
Like you will be marked,
Scarlet leather,
guys, don't take this person, Now it's everything a lawsuit, everything is like, everything changed,
Yeah.
So I'm not saying before was better than now it's better than before, but I say you need to adjust, you need to grow, and you need to make the best out of what you have. And that's the goal we always
So
have.
sometimes people don't see the struggles. I think most of the time people don't see the struggles, People look at you, they maybe have an opinion about you, but at the end of the day, we are just two humans.
It's the life of nowadays.
Working very hard. On social media, you can show whatever you want them to see, but at the end of the day, having a restaurant, no matter who that is, it's sacrifice. It's a lot of struggle, a lot of
You only see the beauty,
sacrifice.
you never see the struggle.
Yeah.
Right. So that brings me to some marketing conversation, some marketing questions, because I understand you guys take care of all of that on your own. Yep, Brenda.
Well, I do have some help
Yeah.
that I work with a few guys that obviously do videographer and things like that. But when it comes to the culture, of course, it has to be the reflection of who we are, right?
Right. So what part of your social presence do you want your guests to see more of?
I have to be very honest. I've been thinking about this lately a lot, and you're going to start seeing a shift into our social media because, like I said before, we focus a lot into sharing the culture of the restaurant, because I truly believe that if people do not have that back end story of understanding why we change these menus and why we do and recognize ourselves as an authentic Italian, and the difference between American Italian and Italian authentic, without bashing American Italian, because there's nothing wrong with that. And I love a good penne vodka. It's just not Italian to me. And I think people needs to, understand and start appreciating the differences between the two cultures. I think I see a shift now in social media where, everybody in the beginning we're trying to just be picture perfect. Instead, we are the entire opposite of it. Like, yes, of course, we have to have nice content so people want to eat at our place. We have bills to pay, but they need to understand the philosophy, because to be honest with you, like, social media can be great, but it can also be a burden. Like, I cannot tell you, and this is a whole nother topic, but I cannot tell you how I hate reviews or even content creators. And I do have respect for some of them, but like, at the end of the day, I only take your word from the knowledge that you have. Everything else is just an opinion based on the knowledge that you have. But if you've never been to that country, if you never experienced the culture, what knowledge do you really have?
Right.
So,
it's a free speech we were talking about.
Perception.
Yeah.
So now I want to really direct the content into being raw, into being real. We do share a lot about the concept of the place, because that's the only way people are going to understand what we do.
Yes. Yeah, it's so important, and I'm happy you bring up the types of content that you guys post, because yes, those pretty videos, I say it all the time, like, yes, they're great, but are they really capturing the essence of the brand, right? Because then is it just sort of a like you say, a character versus the truth? Right. And I'm so happy that you're picking up on this, because we do the pretty videos too. We have a team, comes to the restaurant, does the whole nine, right? And we make some really nice content. But you know what gets the best response is when I put my phone in front of the owner's face and I ask him a question, or I ask her a question, and we're just walking around the restaurant and they're talking to me. Do you know that gets them
absolutely
the most engagement?
We've done a lot of these things where, for instance, but to be honest, I don't really think a lot about, things like that sometimes, because what we do generally is what we do every day. Mm-hmm. What we share is what we do every day. Like, I love to share more of the blind tastings, because the blind tastings is a truly unique experience where it's really you coming to his table, just like if you were at our home. And so the perspective, and it's so cool just to put a camera there and film how that night go. Nothing is staged. Like, there might be some hot conversations that happen there, but that's just the real deal. And so people want to see that. People want to be more relatable, want to understand who is behind really all of these pretty image, and I want them to know how much it takes to do that pretty plate that they're getting on their table, and not just the picture of the pretty plate, which is great, but
right. How much can that pretty picture tell you?
Oh,
some may say a lot. I say a fraction.
Yes, it depends, right? I mean, when you have a handmade pasta and all of that, obviously there is more work.
Yeah,
he can tell you that better.
So I think this is the reality. Everyone is great when he does the photo shoots. It's like everyone is, it's like a beautiful woman that puts all the makeup on, right? But then, am I getting there and getting there? That's my biggest question. Because the one things I always say to my wife is, it needs to be real. I don't want a picture that it's beautiful and then the guest gets here and it doesn't have that.
Yeah.
Because we don't have the time to do that.
Right.
Because it's unreal. Because by the time I give you the plate to you for you to make the pictures, my ingredients have to be all cold maybe, right? And I need to do 25 to 30 touches to make it perfect. Am I able to do that during a service? Because that's the bottom line. If I'm posting you this one, it's because you are expecting to get that one.
Right.
Then I don't get it. And it's like, okay, so where is this flame? Where is this,
That's my concern. You can't bait and switch anymore because people will feel that. They will feel that, and that's very hard to undo. I was working with a restaurant. I'm still working with them. I came on board in October of last year, and the sentiment of the guests was very negative. And I said, we have to switch that. We have to get out from behind the camera, and we have to start talking to guests. We need our team to start talking out on social media and to the guests. And we were able to shift that, and now they're seeing crazy numbers that they've seen pre-COVID, right? That is really making the difference. Because I told him, I said, a pretty video and a pretty picture is not going to change the sentiment your guests have about you, especially when the service wasn't that great to begin with. So let's fix that, right? You go back to what you were saying. Let's fix the real issues so that when they get there, they feel something different. And I want to get back to my experience a little bit with Fiorentini when I went for my mother's birthday. Not my mother's birthday. See, that's a Freudian slip. I call my wife my mom a lot lately.
Ooh. Be careful.
I got to be careful. But this was a big day. It's my first time there. It was my wife's birthday. And I was like, I don't know what to expect. I don't look at the menu before I go. I want to see it there. I'm like, and we get there, and I just couldn't believe the hospitality, just the way I was treated, the way the guests, the way the servers were so knowledgeable, right? And they had a charisma to them, right? They're not just sitting there taking orders. They were literally a tour guide of that restaurant.
But that's the hospitality that you experience.
No, it's also the key important of Fiorentini, because what am I doing if I don't deliver it to you?
Right.
Like, I can have it on my website, on my pages. I can be, as an owner, the one that knows all of this. But if at the moment of sharing the knowledge to the guest, the job is not done, what's the point?
Right. And
how are you going to go by yourself through my menus and understanding that my products are all local, that I can write it, but you are there to enjoy your time. You're not there to work. You're not there to have to read an entire book page,
Right.
You need to have someone that walks you through, and then from the moment you place your order, that's one thing I say to my guys, it doesn't exist that you go to the table. It's something I really don't accept. And this, I think, comes from a culture of fine dining. Whenever you go to the table with the plates, who has this? It's like, guys.
That goes right through you.
Through me. Because I'm like, if you're ordering to me, from that moment, it's my job to know that you ordered that.
Sometimes it can happen because sometimes
no one is perfect.
Switch seats. I get it.
It's fine.
So, it's just nothing's perfect, but...
Yeah.
But you have to aim to that. You have to aim to that because it's like in everything in life. You aim to the top to get to a certain level close to the top, right? Federer, the tennis guy, he did something amazing, Roger. He say, talking about perfections, I always aim into perfection. When I really do the counts on my perfection, I'm not even close to 40%.
Really? That says a lot. No, it says a lot. So let me ask you this. I want to get a couple funny questions in, and then we'll do some rapid fire questions. But I want to get back to the working together with husband and wife, because I was thinking about that today. And I said to myself, I would be probably locked in jail if me and my wife ever opened up a restaurant together.
Oh, it's hot.
But what have you learned? Well, I know you have to go to the restaurant, guys, to see how well they complement each other. I don't want to waste time on the show to talk about that. Just go to the restaurant and watch how they complement each other. But I want to know what you've learned from each other now running this business that you didn't know prior to running this business.
I go first this time. Because I learn a lot.
Go for it.
I learn a lot. I'm still learning, and I need to learn even more. Number one, I'm Italian. We are stubborn, and we all are. In Italy, we all are. We always think that we know better. Okay, so the one things I learned is that one. I had to stop to be that way. So I learned a lot of how to have to calm down and understand and open my ears before my mouth. That's one of the biggest things I did, and still working on it, but I really do. Number two, my teams teach me a lot, because they put me in perspective. You need to make us feel good. Yeah, be severe, be requesting, be whatever you want to be. Just find a better way to doing it. And that's something I learned. And with the new team, I see the difference. And most of everything, the biggest change, it was how to talk to my wife. Actually, our relationships improved.
That's awesome.
We were worried that it was the opposite. It actually improved. But I think it has to do a lot with the fact that we both are similar in many aspects.
Yeah, so I think the biggest thing that I've learned is that I think, and sometimes it can also be a burden. So we are both very, very perfectionists and persistent. And so, we both, if something has our name in it, it has to work. We have to find a way to make it work. And we are both workaholics. And sometimes that can be a
Too
burden
much.
because instead of like, one put some calm and say, let's stop, let's not do this. We're constantly putting fire into each other. Okay, what do we do now? And I actually do not know. We are always doing things. Like nobody had blind tasting before. Now everybody's doing blind tasting, which is great, but, we're doing pasta classes. We're doing this. We're doing that. We're doing so many things. And I'm always thinking like, okay, what can we do now? But then sometimes I'm like, no, wait, we just gotta like stop and breathe. But instead of like do that to each other, we're both so in it that, it's great because we work really, really well together. Although there are times, that obviously we butt heads because why not? But we work really well together, and it's something that I don't think either of us expected in the beginning to work this well together. So
that's awesome.
That's definitely something that I've discovered.
All right, let's get into some fun questions. Not that the other questions weren't fun, but these are polarizing questions. I think our audience is really I think our audience is really gonna love this. So, most overrated restaurant trend right now.
No, you can't ask those questions. You're gonna put it on the spot. We can't.
Okay, I'm not doing names.
No, you don't have to name names. But what do you think? What do you think an overrated trend right now in restaurants are?
Oh, the farm to table.
The farm to table.
Absolutely.
There you go.
Absolutely.
It's
being used
around.
it's like a sticker.
It's like a sticker. All right, next question. Most underrated part of hospitality.
Most underrated part of hospitality.
I say the first greeting. The first greeting is just your business card. Your experience starts the moment you walk in. That first greeting is as important as everything. You can start good or you can start bad right away. I could never be happy if my first greeting with the hostess or whoever is there is someone dismissive that maybe looks at me a certain way. I'm already bad. Like, what the hell?
Yeah, you're out. You want to turn around and go out.
Yeah, and to me, the sense of hospitality and warmness. It's like we all have bad days.
Yeah.
You need to learn that your bad days has to stay out of the door. Because right now, your job is to deliver.
And it's for them, it's not you. Yeah, I always say that to myself when I'm not having I had a day yesterday. I didn't want to create content. I didn't want to do a shoot. And I said, this is the perfect time to get it done, because it's not about.
That is what we call it, the hard work.
Yes,
because if you don't push yourself through that, and then you're easy roll.
You know what's funny? At the back, on the other side of that, this isn't a therapy session for me, I promise. But when I came out of that session, I was so energized. I was so excited to get on with the rest
lighter.
of that. Yeah, I was like, what the hell was I wearing?
Because you learn and because you're pushing.
Exactly. And you can't take that away from people. You can't. All right, one thing every Italian restaurant should do better.
Pasta.
Ingredients.
Okay, perfect. The dish that tells you immediately if a kitchen knows what it's doing.
Any ingredients?
Any dish.
Oh, any dish.
Ragu or tomato, because, oh my God, that drives me crazy.
No, to me, it's the overall plate. Like, there are structural things. I look at it from the perspective of technique.
Okay.
I don't look at it from, because you don't know flavor until you try. So your only visual parts is what can give you the reality of, you know what you're doing, you know what you're doing. I don't know. You do a chicken Milanese. Let's talk about American Italian food. A chicken Milanese. This is Italian as well if it's simple chicken Milanese. But let's say you do a chicken Parmesan, right? Now you're doing something fried. And then you dip into so much liquid that you lose the fry. That's, to me, it's a technical error. It's wrong. The beauty stands into the crunchiness of that. Right. Why now it has to be soggy? Because your tomato sauce is watery. Because you're not thinking about reducing enough to let the water evaporate. It's technique behind.
Bingo. All right, next question. You might have touched on this already, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Best sign that you're about to have a great dining experience.
The greetings,
the greeting. It does.
Yeah.
With that.
The welcome.
The welcome.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. Piss me off or bring me to La La Land.
Biggest red flag when you walk into a restaurant and you can't say greeting.
No, smell.
Yeah.
Smell.
I'm sorry, but maybe it's the deficit of my work industry. But nose, I go by nose for everything.
You know what the second most popular answer to that question is? The vents.
Oh, the vents cleaning, yeah.
They look at the vents. I would have never thought, after hearing that, I would have never thought in a million years to look at the vents. But now, every restaurant I go into, I look at the
Yeah.
vents.
No, it's true.
Yeah,
Cleaning,
true.
cleaning, and
Yeah. Here's a question that got Ryan DiPersio in a lot of hot water, but the post went viral, hundreds of thousands of views. But what matters more, food or service?
I think still service. Although he will definitely disagree with me because food is very
I can't put it
personal
one to the other one. To me, are
to
both.
him.
It's both.
Yeah.
You can't
Yeah.
differentiate.
One needs the other one. You know?
Definitely.
Because there is a say where a good service is gonna, a good food is gonna cover. A good service is gonna cover bad food. A good food is never cover a bad service. So by that, everyone's gonna say service. But the reality is, you can make me not so mad with your hospitality.
But I won't
But
come
if I
back.
didn't eat good, I will not coming back. So
I get it. No,
for me, it's both.
I never heard that
Yeah, there's a lot of
explained
places.
that way.
Yeah.
I like
There's a lot of
that.
places
That's
that
a say in
are-
the industry. It's like I grew up with that say. A good service is gonna cover a mediocre food, not a bad food. A mediocre food,
Right.
but a good food will never cover a mediocre service.
But the thing is that you want the guests to come back. So you
Yeah.
have to, at the end of the day, you're a restaurant. People are going there to have an experience, to eat, to feel good. But it's about the food. So
To me, goes deeper than that. To me, is if you are really doing your job well, both should be equal.
Sure, 100%.
That's it. It's a bottom line.
Yep.
Because if you're only focused on the food, then you don't understand that your industry is made from service as well. So it's a complementary thing. And it's one of the hard. There has always been a separation between dining room and kitchen, front of the house, back of the house, the fight of all the times. So I try to think differently. Okay, let's get out of the box.
Yeah.
How do we make this together?
Yeah.
Every day since we opened the door, the team, front and back, eats it down together.
There's no divide.
There is no
I
divide.
love it. I love it. What? Okay. What's harder, opening up a restaurant or keeping it consistent?
Keeping it
keeping it
consistent.
consistent.
Absolutely.
The one ingredient you can never live without.
Parmigiano.
Olive oil.
Okay. All right. I liked it.
But I love cheese.
The most misunderstood Italian dish.
You go there because this is more technical.
Sorry, give me 1 second.
I'm sure a lot of them come to
I'm
your
sorry.
mind.
Bread.
Bread.
Yeah.
Okay. I can see that. That bread is a science.
Yeah.
It is a science. Okay, I like it. What is one hospitality rule you'll never break?
Hospitality rules I never break. Deliver you an amazing experience. Yeah.
Brenda?
Yeah, I mean, if I gotta think of one action specifically, it's be kind.
Yeah.
So simple.
So simple.
It can really transform your bad experience to your good experience. I just had an episode.
Yeah, she just
like
come from
this.
that.
I just come from something like that this past weekend, and that's when I put in the effort and I say, like, this is my one chance to test me, and because I have zero patience, and also to transform, how
A bad
that,
impact.
how that guest feels.
Turn a good
right
to a
now.
bad.
Yeah.
Yes, and it was wonderful. This person showed up without a reservation.
No, she
Saturday
had a
night.
reservation.
Well,
she
had a
mistakenly
reservation.
canceled.
Yes.
The press 1 or 9.
Oh, crap.
Yes.
And it was her birthday.
And it was her birthday, and she made another reservation at another place at the same time. So she meant to cancel the other place. So now you're showing up. You know, you are over 30 minutes late. It's your birthday. Your parents are waiting for you. And it was just, and she was like in the beginning very reactive, like, oh, you know, I made a reservation. I have proof that I didn't cancel yours. But then yet I am seeing on the screen from her phone that it says cancel. So in that moment, I'm like, I have two choices here. Because I was able only to accommodate her on one table for 3 people, like one square that normally it's for 2. But I had no other table available. Like, I mean,
30
Saturday,
by 30 with an extra check.
Yes,
So-
30, you know, Saturdays are crazy. So I said, like, this is what I can do, and that is all I can do. I mean, we do have a cancellation from you. So in that moment, it was like, you know, I can either turn this to be the best night for her or just make it miserable for her and for me, because you never leave with a good taste when your guests are not happy. No restaurateur wants a guest to leave unhappy, even if they are wrong. Yeah. It's just not, it doesn't, it's like when you fight with your mom, it's just doesn't make you feel good. You know, yes, you forget it quickly, but that's not what you want to do. So I flipped it around, and she had a best time, and I felt great.
And I have the answer to you. Honesty.
Honesty.
Yes. Honesty.
I love it. Okay, last question. Finish this sentence. A great restaurant brand is not built by blank.
I got to think about this one.
Repeat it.
Yeah, so finish the sentence. A great restaurant brand is not built by blank.
To be honest, nowadays, I feel that a good restaurant is not built without a real concept.
Agree.
Fantastic.
A true story. A true identity.
A meaning, you know? And I, again, that can be very controversial because, you know, food is really personal. You know, there might be a lot of people who've come to Fiorentini and they didn't think it was the best thing, nor do we think we are. We have so much more to grow and to learn. But there is only one thing that we know how to do, and that's stay true to our concept. So some people will like it, some people won't, and that's totally fine. But we do stay within that. Some people will get it, some people won't.
You need to have a true identity.
Yeah, you got to stand for
Just
something.
saying I open because I cook good
Ain't gonna cut it.
ain't gonna last.
It ain't gonna last. Exactly. Guys, what a fantastic interview. This was, I told you, we're actually overtime.
Oh my God.
What a blast I had with you guys today. I appreciate you so much for taking time out of your day and meeting me here today.
Thank you for having us. This was wow.
This was, yeah, you know,
I can understand the time flies so fast.
when you're in a good conversation, you know, you just lose track of it. But, oh my God. So real quick, where can people find you? So talk to them.
So
Talk
we are
to-
located at
talk to the
98
camera.
Park Avenue, Rutherford, New Jersey.
Say it again.
98 Park Avenue, Rutherford, New Jersey. So please visit
Fiorentini.
us. Fiorentini restaurant, right on Park Avenue. Can't go wrong.
Bingo, guys. Guys, I got to tell you, you have to experience this restaurant. When I walked in and I traveled Italy from top to bottom with my wife, I felt like I warp zoned into Italy, from their hospitality to the food to ambiance. Like if you never been to Italy, you go here first. Especially, you're gonna get your socks blown off. And I'm not just saying that because they're here. I wrote them a fantastic review when I left there, not knowing them from Adam, and I truly believe that they have one hell of a concept. So, I am just full of emotion right now. I'm not going to lie. Like, we laughed. I was ready to cry at one moment. But this is a true story. This is how restaurants with true identities and true authenticity make it past the 2-year mark and actually have a raving following. So, take one bit of what they said today and apply it somehow, some way, and I can promise you, you're going to see a difference in how guests treat your restaurant and how you treat guests, right? Because there was a lot that came out of today's episode. So, again, don't forget to like, subscribe, review, share, do all the things. Blow my ego out of the water, please. But this is how the show grows, and this is how other people get inspired and make a difference in the industry. So appreciate you guys. Stay tuned for the next episode, and I'll catch you on the next one real soon. Take care.